For Zachary Strawn, joining the military was something he decided to do at an early age.
My father was in 4 years active duty Navy and then spent the rest of his year in the Army National Guard as a tank company commander. But it's like, you know, I always wanted to put on the uniform. I always wanted to put on the camouflage. And there's just this father-son thing that I think is, you know, it's great.
Zach followed in his father's footsteps, joining the Army National Guard 2 days after his 17th birthday, and soon after he spent a year fighting in Iraq. Now that he's back, he works as a production assistant for Fox News. For so many others, like Lieutenant Colonel Dan McCarthy, the value of service to our country is something he hopes his sons can learn from him.
I have 4 boys. I have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 10, and a 6. And so they're all, I think, at an age-appropriate, they have an age-appropriate appreciation for the military. So as you can imagine, my 6-year-old, he has a full Army uniform that he likes to run around in, and he's infatuated with things that have camouflage on them and those sorts of things. I think my 10-year-old is sort of reticent. You know, I mean, he knows and understood what it meant when I left to go to Afghanistan and was gone for a period of time, and then when I came home for a few months and then went back to Iraq. So I think he understands it from a perspective of, you know, wow, you know, serving in the military can be hard.
Major Scott Greco's father and grandfather were Marines. This father of 2 already served 2 tours in Iraq, with a possible 3rd looming. He says it's all part of the job, but will spend every possible second with his kids until then.
I will return back to, we can say, the operational force, the maneuver force, sometime in the near future, and I could, you know, depending on what unit I get assigned to, I could potentially be going back, probably to Afghanistan, based on what the success we've had in Iraq.
But for Major Christina Richardson, joining the military wasn't a family decision. She wanted to fly.
I'm a Black Hawk pilot.
You're a Black Hawk pilot, oh wow.
So I was there during the surge. And so our brigade, 25th Combat Aviation Brigade, participated in a lot of the surge activity, supporting the infantry guys. And also just basic air movement of troops on the battlefield. So at night is usually when we do a lot of that. I did not come from a military family, and I had no exposure to the military really until I went to West Point.
Their dedication and commitment to our country is apparent, but it's the memories of their time overseas that makes them thankful.
I know when I got back, it's something emotional, something in you kind of changes in regards to your patriotism, you know. I recall being at a baseball game where it's kind of like, you know, you shed a tear.
Definitely coming back from a deployment, it makes you appreciate, changes your perspective, makes you appreciate the little things more.
Rick Folbaum, Fox News. Zachary Strawn always knew he wanted to be in the military. After serving a year in Iraq, the aspiring war journalist joined Fox News as a production assistant. He says life at war is not easy, and he lets cadets Darren Blyler and Brendan Regan in on something that always daunted him.
There's this thing about being in the Army, they say hurry up and wait, but when they don't tell you when you're waiting, it's you always have that like deep pit butterfly feeling before, I mean, training exercises, before, you know, jumping into an LZ, before, you know, landing in theater, before even leaving. And it's something that I've always had a difficulty with, you know, it's like that, wow, like I'm about to go and do something.
But the cadets say they're ready.
As far as how I feel on it, I'm totally fine with it. I knew going into West Point that that's definitely on the horizon. You know, going to Afghanistan, potentially, you know, seeing combat and leading soldiers through that direct fire exchange. So I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm not really going to worry about it right now, but what I'm focused on now is training for it.
I think if anything, I'm excited and I'm ready, and I'm especially going to depend on those soldiers, like yourself, who have had that experience and who are ready to teach me as an officer the things I need to know to be safe.
Major Scott Greco is a teacher at West Point. He served 2 tours of duty in Iraq himself, but still credits his students.
These are such exceptional cadets that are willing to serve even though they're going straight to a combat zone very soon after graduation.
The circumstances and the demands that the military places on you puts you in stressful situations, but it's always the guy next to you that gets you through it. So I can say that my roommates have pulled me through many times. So
I rely upon
squad mates, yeah.
Battle buddies.
Battle buddies, that's right, sir.
Through all the training and the unknowns, the men say they see a change in themselves for the better. And for Zach, he'll eat Thanksgiving dinner a little bit differently this year.
I always find it hysterical because my mom describes me. She's like, yeah, you used to eat over, slouch, eating your turkey and mashed potatoes, and then when you got back, it's like...
Absolutely. In New York, Rick Fulbaum, Fox News.